So here's the thing about Naomi Schwartz from Long Story Short. Right away, in one single, concise season, this show gave us some of the most complex and realistic characters I have ever seen from an animated show, save for Bojack Horseman, of course. Specifically, I was astounded at the incredibly true-to-life depiction of a very particular type of mother. One that I think many people have encountered or might have been raised by. And that is one who is entirely self-centered and even a bit narcissistic. Raphael Bob Waksberg has written some incredibly complex mother figures across his shows. That would be Bojack, Undone, and this one, leading me to believe that he might have some issues with his own at this point due to the consistency. But Beatrice Horseman, though a terrible mother, was an awfully complex person with a horrifically tragic life that we were shown in spades. We got so much context for why she acted the way she did, even though obviously there's no excusing it. However, Naomi Schwartz is one archetype that you'd be more likely to find in the typical American home. Unlike Beatrice, she is not outwardly or intensely cruel or vicious toward her own children, and absolutely does not physically abuse them. It's clear that there is care there from Naomi's side, that she does indeed love her children and want to be with them. This, at least, I was able to feel throughout the time we've gotten with her so far. But despite this, Naomi is also quite a narcissistic person. She constantly emotionally manipulates her children, guilting them into feeling bad for her or to not be able to criticize her, forces them to spend time with her through underhanded means, or directly just tries to control their lives. We've all met this archetype of a mother in our lives, I think, even if it is not our own. The one who constantly complains about having to do everything themselves, having to give up their life for their children, but then also refuses any help when it's offered. The one who, accused of anything remotely negative, immediately retreats into intense vocal self-loathing and grandiose claims to try and get the person attempting to have a serious conversation about their flaws with her to back off and console her. She makes reasonable complaints from others seem as if they're attacking her entire character, saying that they don't love her, not really allowing for any honest conversation or sort of development from her part. You know this character is written incredibly well because on my first watch, oh man, she infuriated me. There is such a real component to her behavior that it fuels a rage deep in your gut when you watch this show, as it speaks to very real interactions that, as I said, many of us have had to deal with. However, I hesitate to say that I hate her. I feel that we all should be more careful with using that particular word with fictional characters in general, but what I can say is that Naomi Schwartz is definitely a selfish person, regardless of my feelings about her. It doesn't make her outwardly terrible or innately bad, but she definitely has narcissistic qualities that don't seem to be dealt with by the time of her death, if the timeline in the first season is any indication to go by. First of all, she is completely incapable of keeping things to herself. She always has an opinion, a criticism, and she always assumes that everyone needs to hear it, even if they're simply throwing an event entirely in her honor or trying to do something nice to placate her, despite them not wanting to do it in the first place. Unfortunately for them, though, nothing is ever entirely correct or done right because she needs to be in charge. She feels that she needs to control everything, so she pokes, she prods, she criticizes. She's passive-aggressive over and over again until everything is going exactly the way that she would prefer it. Because also, she's never wrong. If Avi and Jen are giving Hannah gluten-free cookies, she doesn't care about their point of view and will immediately give her gluten and massive amounts of sugar just to try and buy her love. Or just straight up buys her a phone. She doesn't really care about their desires in the face of her need to control and be involved in every facet of her family's existence. She brings outfits for Shira because she automatically dislikes anything she picks out for herself. She slights Jen with almost every single sentence. I felt so bad, by the way, for Jen in pretty much every episode that she has to visit Avi's family, but especially in episode 1, where quite literally, she could not win no matter what she did. She brings them a gift, and Naomi complains that it's an empty vase and it's more work for her to find something to put in it. She's teased for how much she brings in her bag, isn't allowed to help them carry them, so that they just keep complaining about it. Her career is undermined, her intentions are constantly questioned. It's really hard for her to just be anywhere. Getting them a gift is seen as some judgment as to their decor, when it's really just her trying to be kind and gracious. And then later in the intervention, she gets them flowers, and Naomi complains that she has nothing to put them in. You just cannot win with her, no matter what you do, unless you are the exact type of person that she wants to have around. I think she's specifically really difficult on Jen because she can't control what she does. She's super nice to Kendra, Shira's wife, because she falls in line with everything Naomi wants, essentially that her daughter marry someone else who is Jewish and has a 9-to-5. But Jen is apparently agnostic, wasn't raised Jewish, and doesn't have a typical, more stable, from her point of view, job. So that's why she constantly needles her and tries to, as Naomi sees it, steer Jen in the right direction. However, none of it ever gets Jen to change because she knows she doesn't have to. And that infuriates Naomi to no end. And it's also pretty clear that her husband more or less falls in line with all this criticism. Again, right in the first episode, we get a really stark depiction of their dynamic, where Naomi, though declaring that it's his project, still criticizes him for bringing an emergency kit in the car, and he ends up listening and leaving it on the side of the road, and then later points in that same episode they actually need it. And when Elliot arranges the place cards in the same episode, she can't help but change everything that he did. Or in There's a Mattress in There, when Elliot's afraid to bring up his support of Yoshi's idea, he straight up makes up a fictional story to try to earn it, knowing that she wouldn't actually back him and just have faith in their children.
I think you love him too much to see reality. I love him the right amount, so I see his flaws.
He is genuinely kind of afraid of her, it seems here, and no matter what happens, Naomi always tells him that she knew best, that he should have listened to her, even if, while things were actually going well, she also claimed the glory for herself despite her protests. Or, in the intervention, he's cowed into standing with her, even though he personally clearly doesn't believe Yoshi has an addiction.
Your mother feels... We feel like you have been acting very strange since you moved down here.
You didn't call on our anniversary. It's not like you.
Is that what this
Avi
is
and
about?
Shira also didn't call, but that's not so unusual for them.
And he avoids the situation entirely by obsessing about the hot tub, hilarious as that side storyline is. Listen, I love Elliot. I think he's a great dad, and I think Naomi is a good mom, and I believe that they do love each other. I mean, look, they both successfully raised 3 relatively well-adjusted kids who are living full lives and are finding themselves. It's more than any parent can hope for, really. But it is worth addressing how she often steamrolls Elliot into agreeing with her, and he goes behind her back several times to kind of solve this issue, like with giving Hannah the camera in return for the phone. They don't really work together, at least that's how I see it so far, and oftentimes, Elliot's feelings are put to the side, or he puts them aside himself to pacify her, distracting himself with other stuff. And with this need to control also comes the feeling as if she's a martyr, a hero for what she's done for her children. She may complain about all the work that she does, but no one ever forces her to do it but herself, and she actively refuses help, like I said before, because she needs to feel important, needs to have control of every part of her life, needs to feel that appreciation for doing things for other people, even if she doesn't want to complete the task that earns her that approval. And then when she doesn't get it automatically, she lashes out at everyone else, claiming that they don't respect her despite everything that she has done for them. And while she does, I believe, love her children, as she is willing to do the work to make their favorite meals and cater to their needs, as much complaining does come with it, she often doesn't see their point of view or even consider it when making decisions about their lives. Fundamentally, narcissistic parents have been shown to kind of use their children as emotional props for their own self-esteem, which we see Naomi do time and time again as the series goes on. I mean, right in that first scene, when they are returning from her mother's funeral, we can see that she is not really concerned with the emotions of anyone else in the car, immersing herself entirely in her own grief and dissatisfaction of the service itself, while Elliot, uncomfortable with this, tries to comfort the children in the back. Even when Avi tries to cheer her up, she takes him right down, dismissing his positive comments about the funeral and his hopeful assumptions about death. Then, Avi even settles into her dissatisfaction in an attempt to please her. Later in the finale, they also show that she refused to let anyone laugh or have a good time at that funeral, wanting everyone to feel what she felt. It sets up their dynamic in a really visible way right from the get-go, and we only get more and more examples of this as the show goes on, even with its short runtime thus far. I'll return to Avi's relationship with her specifically a little bit later in this video. And also, all of my sources, as always, are in the description below. With Yoshi's bar mitzvah, it's not even really about Yoshi. It's her last son's bar mitzvah, and really, she feels the day is about her due to all the work that she puts into it and also has put into raising Yoshi. She even criticizes Yoshi himself for acting quote-unquote weird on his big day simply for, like, eating dessert early. It's his bar mitzvah, who cares? And she kind of insults him in front of all of his guests. And she has no issue telling her children that they're all required to come to an intervention for Yoshi, fully knowing that it is entirely untrue, simply so that will keep her and her husband company on their anniversary. All the worry that comes with the fact that Yoshi might have an addiction or a huge problem, the guilt they feel for perhaps not being there for him, the time that they took out of their busy lives to be there, none of it compares to Naomi's desire to have her family around her on her special day. She even hounds everyone at the door, setting up this sort of like love checkpoint to make sure that she gets the attention that she feels she's been lacking as of late. And they have to say it if they want to enter the house, it seems. And then when Yoshi reveals he's Orthodox in that episode, she can't accept it, literally forcing her non-kosher cake into his mouth against his wishes, stating that he's punishing her for not wanting to eat it. As if his religious journey has anything at all to do with her, as Yoshi asserts. It's just him trying to find himself, but she takes it as an offense to her own parenting, because everything is about her in her own mind. She's also pretty brazen about her children's issues and sensitivities too, not really considering that they might not want them blasted on repeat to their new girlfriend, like when Naomi tells Jen that Avi has self-esteem issues within like 30 seconds of meeting her, and then doubles down when he denies it. Girl! Does it cross your mind that I might not want everyone to know that? Another really prevalent aspect of Naomi is that she cannot take any sort of criticism well. Like, at all. Even correcting her on Jen's name is a huge problem and becomes an affront to her as a mother, when in reality all she needs to do is just call her Jen, and no one would care after that. It's even shorter than the name she is currently calling her, but apparently that's a problem. Instead, she turns this into some giant crisis, saying that Jen hates her and their relationship is doomed, and it's Avi's fault for bringing her this busy weekend, like she does every time she receives criticism. By amplifying the disapproval that she's met with, the other person feels the need to defend her, or that their own assertions were out of line or rude or crazy to bring up. It's textbook gaslighting, honestly, and there is a lot of it whenever Naomi is on screen. Everything is someone else's fault, even if it's just her being rude to other people. Like at Yoshi's bar mitzvah, it's Avi's fault that she can't give Jim proper attention, even though she just actively berates her at every turn. It's so much easier not to say something, Naomi. Unless, of course, things are going well, then it's all because of her hard work. And she always tries to retain some sort of plausible deniability to make sure she's able to wiggle out of the responsibility for the conflict at any moment, gaslighting those who have a problem with her by saying that she wasn't intentionally insulting them, or that she's just observing, and that everything is actually fine, she doesn't actually care that much, despite her abundant complaints. Like when she rearranges those place cards at the bar mitzvah, for example. She tells Elliot before she does so, "I love you, they're perfect, let me just change this a bit." Or when she complains, she ends it with something like, "But I'm not complaining, thank you anyway, it's not a problem." So that if you ask her later or follow up on why she didn't trust your judgment, she can say, "I told you it was fine, why are you making a big deal out of nothing?" And this is cemented by one of Avi's final conversations with her before she passes, where he asserts that she needs to change if she actually wishes to have a positive and consistent relationship with him and his daughter. There's a very common reaction in children of narcissistic parents to sort of defer to their needs, to please them and keep their relationship positive, often developing an intense fear or anxiety when trying to express criticism, as from their mind, it could destroy the entire relationship, as they know their parent is not capable of receiving it. We see this time and time again with Avi throughout the course of his life, and this ends up even causing some slight problems with him and Jen, as we see when he's reluctant to stick up for her to his mother several separate times. He doesn't want to criticize her and damage his relationship because he is positive that his mother will not take it well. I don't think Avi does any sort of terrible job in the bar mitzvah episode, as he does talk to her when Jen asks, but he does put the blame entirely on himself when his mother becomes offended.
Sorry I upset your girlfriend. If I could change myself to make you happy, you don't think I would?
Hey,
it's all
no,
I want is
Mom,
for my
don't-
children
no.
to be happy.
Yeah, we are. She's having a wonderful time. Wonderful is her word. It's my fault. Forget I said anything.
During the intervention, we really see this become a huge problem when Naomi, again ignoring her son and daughter-in-law's wishes, got their daughter Hannah a phone. Whereas before, I did think Avi was truly trying to speak up for Jen and did so rather quickly, I think all this time under his mother's thumb really has gotten to him, as he very much struggles to confront her, stalling and even trying to pawn it off on Jen at one point. And then at first he won't even back Shira up when she tries to actually tell her mother the truth about her behavior. It's only after Naomi pushes him specifically that he's able to finally be honest, which I did want from him here as well. But eventually he finally does blow up on her after holding it in for so long with her controlling him, telling him everything that he's thinking for these years and assuming she knows better, undermining him and criticizing him, even if he tried to cover it up with polite agreement to preserve their relationship. He tells her she can't trick him into spending time with her, continue crying wolf to get him to run to her protection, because she knows that he cares about her safety. Eventually, as that children's story first showed us, people are going to stop believing you, stop trusting you, and when that happens with your own mother, it's extremely tragic. But I do applaud Avi for asking more of his mother, insisting that she change and be more accepting of them if she does want to be in their lives. But what's interesting is we do get a little bit of insight already into why Naomi acts this way, where as a child her house was loud, chaotic, and oftentimes left her feeling invisible and ignored. So, to get attention, she did things like literally hurt herself just to be able to confide in her close family members and receive that love that every child needs. And unfortunately, that pattern of behavior only grew and grew into her adulthood, and she relies on it more and more. I mean, every time her children come to visit her, she says, "I love you" 3 times, super loud and in their face, and insists they say it back. And we can see this result in later on her children struggling to even say "I love you" to one another or their children.
Hey, listen. You know?
Yeah, I know. You too. Bus.
Hey. You know?
Yeah, I know. I love you too, Dad.
As they are exhausted from being obligated to show this intense attention and admiration for her all these years. It really did make me wonder about why Naomi had a family, as I do for many people in real life. Did she simply want someone to love her, or more people to love her because she already had a husband, and pay attention to her? And if that is all she wanted, did that lead to her always demanding love from her children and treating them this way? It really is an interesting correlation that I'm excited to dive deeper into. I want more insight into her psyche, as she's already really got such a strong start as a character. It can only go up from here. And once again, I'd like to clarify, this is a story about a family, and they have faults, they have feuds, and they also have a ton of positive, loving memories, I am sure. Was Naomi perfect? No, of course not. Was she the worst mother ever? Certainly not. Did she love her kids? Absolutely. She needed to change, but listen, it's not me saying that this family had no real love and they don't care for each other and Naomi only ever manipulated her children and her husband. No, of course not. There is real care here between all of them, but it's also important to recognize that behavior that is manipulative. And before I end this video, I have a message for those who make fun of my intro because of what Bojack and Herb said in that one episode of Bojack. Is a schnook not entitled to introduce the concept that there's going to be a concept? I mean, you laugh, but a schnook is entitled. Anyway, thanks for watching, and consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/PosiTVty to get extra content in the form of unedited essays and all of these videos before they come out on YouTube. But also, the support on YouTube does really mean a lot. Subscribing, liking, hitting that lovely bell, discussing further in the comments, all of that is great to see, and I do love talking to you guys. So thank you for being here, and don't forget to appreciate the support system you have around you. Tell someone you love them today. It's always important. I will see you for the next video though, and goodbye.